Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Imps View podcast show with me, Cornell B. Back again with another video. Today, I'm doing a match reaction to Lincoln City nil, Accrington Stanley 1 after a Langolo goal in the 90th minute. Obviously, sealed the win for Accrington Stanley, and they are through to the last 16 to face Bolton Wanderers. Before I get in the video, I want to say thank you very much to the 458 subscribers. I'd love to get it up to 459. It'll be very, very appreciated. So let's get into the video. So tonight, obviously, we saw four changes made from Skabala. We saw we realistically we saw Shadipo and Mandroyu playing together, which I've always wanted to see both of them play together because I think both of them have an absolute wicked bonding together as both. We saw Vale come in for Karma. We saw Mitchell come in, obviously, because realistically, the previous one was that Ioma played ahead of Mitchell, which was a little bit harsh from Skabala, but we have to trust Skabala's changes, and we saw the two Ethans in midfield as well. And then we saw Rowan play on the left as well after he was wearing to go and wearing to play in this game, and the objective was to go to Wembley, but unfortunately that's been broken, and we're out of the Bristol Street Motors Trophy. So obviously the it's sad to go out, to be honest, and to lose the game, because this was a game that obviously we thought we could go on and win, and go through to the next round, and really take on Bolton and really give Bolton a very, very hard game. But realistically it didn't happen. So we have to slam that door shut, and move on, and have real focus on our next target, which is top six in the league. Well, I'll come on to that in a minute. Obviously, the first half, I think the 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes, we were good, and I mean, obviously, realistically, we had some very good moments, but we had a poor it was a poor first half. And I think the obvious choice was there's no excuses in it. Obviously, the performance wasn't good enough, and I'm sure the players will take some responsibility and say, well, we didn't play so well. The only positive was Shadipo. We had a few chances. We had one through Sorensen. We were close to even scoring as well, but obviously the ball just couldn't obviously go in. And fair play to Accrington Stanley. They were better, and not in the first half they weren't, because we the first half was all of us, and the second half was all Accrington. But the first half we troubled. We made Accrington Stanley's life a misery in that first half. We troubled their defense. We put pressure on defense. We hurt them. Shadipo and Mandroy was causing problems, mostly Shadipo, and that is the best impact that Shadipo has had since obviously starting in the starting lineup. But obviously, realistically, to lose the game in the 90th minute after trying to seal out a draw and go into penalties, and obviously Accrington Stanley was going to make their changes in the second half, which they did, and they were going to bring on another goalkeeper for the penalty shootout. But realistically, it's gone out our favour now. So you know we go out, we bow out, with our heads held high. But obviously the performance wasn't good enough, and then the second half was all Accrington Stanley. Sean Rowan, obviously. Um, Jensen made some very two, three crucial saves in the first half. Second half, he was tested. The Accrington Stanley goalkeeper was tested as well. So there was a lot of things to really be positive and negative on, but the performance as of late wasn't good enough, and we needed to be a lot better. And it's mostly in the night, and then the 90th minute defending wasn't good enough. And I got to be honest, we were missing Jackson in at the back there, because I know if that was Jackson, I know Jackson would have found a way to make sure that we pulled out that mistake. But the goal, obviously, there was nothing that Jensen could do. It went top corner, and no chance for Jensen, and that was it, to be honest. And that's the reason why we went out. But right now, if we're looking at this game now, obviously it was a poor performance. Positives to take from it: Shadipo was the best player on the pitch. And he made that impact very, very known and said, "Listen, I want to be in the starting lineup. I want to be in the starting plans of Skabala." And obviously, with his contract as a short term till January, then it's gonna. This I think this was the opportunity for Shadipo to really impress, to really make his presence known, and he's showing that for sure. Um, Obviously, what's the main target now for us, Lincoln City now? Our main target right now is top six right now. The league is the most important target because we're in ninth place. We've won 8 games this season. We've drawn 7. We've lost 6. Right now we can look forward to, a game on Saturday, but the performance has to be a lot more better. That performance tonight that we played against Accrington Stanley wasn't good enough, and it has to improve. The defending's got to improve. We can't go into Saturday and play like we did, because if we play like that, we're going to get slaughtered. And Reading, who lost their game on Saturday against Barnsley 3-1, they'll be looking at that game and saying there's a few weaknesses in that team. And there's no part of me ranting, no part of me getting angry. I'm sad. I'm disappointed that we lost, but obviously, you know, it's an awful cup. We've had history in it. We've won it in 2018 through the Cowley brothers. At the time, it was called the Checker Trade Trophy, but obviously that's dead now, and that's dead in the water now. So we move on, and we're not living in the past now. Right now, we bow out of it, and right now we have to say, listen, the Bristol Street Motors Trophy was not our aim. Our aim is to be competing for top six and finishing in top six this come the end of the season. And right now, I think that's the most important goal. We're not in the tournament. We're not in the competitions now. We're at the Carabao. We're at the FA Cup now. We're at the Bristol Street Motors Trophy. But one thing I will say is that Shadipo's impact that was made tonight has really got Skabala, will have really Skabala thinking and saying he needs to play on Saturday. He needs to play on Saturday against Reading. And if I was Skabala right now, I would play him and Mandroyu along with McCarmer. I mean, when McCarmer came on in the second half, he made that sort of impact that he has been making this season. But other than that, and I'm going to be honest, and I'm always one that likes to speak my mind and say how it is. I would go for every single player, but I don't really want to go for every single player. But I probably will do. But realistically, Rowan, obviously, I know you was wearing to go, and I know you wanted to really prove to Skabaya that you have something to show and something to prove. But I think the defending had to be better, and I think that's one thing I think he will improve on, and I think he will get better at. Because these are the type of games that you're thinking, oh yeah, we can. When we come up against the lower teams, we always struggle, we always lose. And tonight we lost because Accrington was causing threat. They were causing us problems going forward. I mean, the first half was all us. Second half, their manager gave them a real hard talking to and said they needed to play better, and they played better. They were causing much more trouble to our defence. They were jiggling with our defence and getting at us, getting at us, getting at us, getting at us, and that's the reason why we lost. And fair play to them. They were better in the second half. We weren't. We weren't good enough, and we deserve to be bowing out. It's not being pessimistic and being negative. It's honesty. And even though I was wearing to go, I really wanted us to go further in the tournament. But honestly, that performance, we can't. The players cannot play like that against Reading. Because right now, Reading is going to look at that and say there's some serious weaknesses. Yes, of course, we're still lacking in that final third. And with the tougher games coming up, and then January transfer window is not far away, we can't be playing like that. And then it's not our fault. We've got injuries in the team, and then we've only got 2 available strikers in Vale and McCarmer. So it's not our fault. I mean, yes, we're looking forward to Moylan coming in January 1st, but we can't be waiting for Moylan. And obviously we can't but sign any Irish players until January 1st. And if there was any Irish player, any Irish striker I would love to see Lincoln City get, it's Jonathan Ofalabi up front. Because we do need 2 strikers. And I ain't gonna lie to you. I'm gonna be real. One on permanent, one loan. Just to back up House and to back up Walker in January. But tonight, That performance was nowhere good enough. And the players right now have to take some real responsibility and really put a bounce back ability performance against Reading. Because we cannot play the way like we played tonight. Yes, there were positives from the game. Yes, in the first half, Shadipo, 20 minutes, we were fantastic. 15, 20 minutes, we were fantastic. But that second half, going throughout the first half and the second half, was nowhere good. And this is an improvement that the Lincoln City players can really take and really bring that into Reading. But playing like that, that's not good enough. That defending, obviously, Rowan, I know you was wearing to go. You wanted to play in this game and you got your wish. But that defending was nowhere good enough. And I feel like that is one place that Sean Rowan has to improve on. Because if you want to be in Skabala's team, if you want to be in Skabala's starting lineup this season, and you want to be in the first team, you got to work harder. And I know you just come back from injury, and I know it sucks being on the injury list, and it's not nice, it's horrible. I get that, I understand that. But if you really want to work hard for your spot, and you really want to push out TJ, you want to push out Mitchell out the team, you got to give your all and you got to give your performances. Because if it doesn't have to be on one player, but any player. But tonight was nowhere good enough, and we deserve to go out. It's hard, it's sad, it's upsetting, but we have to face reality right now. The main target right now is top six, and us Lincoln City have to work hard. But when we're lacking in the final third, it's hard work, and sometimes we can look at this and say, are we really overachieving with the injuries? I'm not surprised that it is. But tonight, obviously, was nowhere good enough. And obviously, fair play to Accrington Stanley. They've been doing well in League Two, and deservedly so. They're obviously going in the right direction for them to get back to it, to get back to League One for next season. But us, we weren't good enough, and we have to take some real responsibility. The players have got to take some sort of responsibility tonight, because that's not what the Imps fans needed. Right now, they'll be going on the coach, drowning their sorrows that why didn't we get the game won? Even though it wasn't watched, but realistically, our main target right now is top six right now. And we're focusing on that. And not only just that, bringing in players that want to play for Lincoln City. And we got quality players, but we're just toothless in that final third, and lacking of creating chances. And that's the reason why you see all the stats and data are going down. But trust me, and I said this to a fan today, Skabala will improve our attack. He'll bring in the right strikers, the right wingers to cover certain players in case of suspension and in case of injury, and we'll be up there. But obviously, fair play to Accrington Stanley, and we just wasn't good enough tonight, and fully deserved we went out. Thank you very much for watching the Imps View podcast show with me, Cornell B. Smash a like on my YouTube video, man. Love to get it up to 459. It'd be very, very appreciated. Thank you very much. Up the Imps.